Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
You're only alive once, ladies and gentlemen. We're on this planet to build a better society, to pass on the ideals of liberty and freedom and justice to our children, not to collect a bunch of baubles and act trendy. Welcome, my friends. We are live. It is the 29th day of December 2011, and old man 2011 has got a very, very long beard and is long in the tooth, and like the spirit of Christmas present is accelerating by the minute and is about to fall into a pile of bones and dust, and we will be in to 2012. The globalist predestined date for world government and a new order where their open eugenics plans can be publicly displayed for all, and the global banking dictatorship can be hailed in hundreds of newspapers, as it already is, and simultaneously simpering hired political hacks, hired mercenaries like Michael Medved can write articles about how Ron Paul and Alex Jones are insane. There's no new world order. There's no plan for a global government. It's just in Time Magazine, Newsweek, The Economist Magazine, Financial Times of London, BBC, Der Spiegel, as the answer to the global derivatives crisis, publicly created by the 6 megabanks that openly are pushing world government for and by finance oligarchs standing astride the world and putting an Atlas load of debt on our little backs. World government, all of it out in the open, and I've got the New York Times, Newsweek, Daily Beast, and literally 50 or more articles I didn't even have time to look at, as the dinosaur, corporate whore, deceiver, traitor, simpering, discredited crew, like a flotilla of weasels, attacks Ron Paul in a mad panic. By the way, I just want you to attempt it, Jaron and Chris. I want you to get me Michael Medved, His Holiness, on the show. By the way, I ran into him at the RNC in 2004. Incredible. He saw it was me walking up to interview him. At his table, he started yelling, "Are the terrorists going to hit? Is the government the terrorist? Terrorist, terrorist!" Knowing they were throwing anybody out. And he saw that I knew what he was doing, and he smiled at me. Yes, these are all sheep, and Lord Medved can manipulate them as long as they're unconscious. As long as they're unseeing, he and his ilk can control them. Oh, but I'm bringing the light of awakening to them. Spreading the bushfires, the brush fires in the minds of men and women, and I'm afraid you're starting to panic. There's articles in the New York Times bemoaning that conspiracy theorizing is taking over. That means not trusting certified liars, certified globalists, certified deceivers. And across the political spectrum, the awakening is only beginning. So the arrogant globalists are like, start shutting down the internet. We've got to do something. In both parties, what are we going to do? They're waking up. They're not listening to us. They're not letting us dictate reality to them. They're waking up out of their trances. What are we going to do as little chicken neck, pot-bellied knuckle draggers with our cheap tricks? What are we going to do? They've learned our magician tricks. Emergency! Save me! They don't like cause I'm taking their money. It's not working when we tell them it's good to take their private accounts. They're not listening to us. Hurry, start a huge war. Hurry, hurry. Break their will, have TSA stick their hands down their children's pants, break their will. Bring in tyranny. But while we do it, we'll criticize Ron Paul and Alex Jones and say, none of it's happening. I've got a big broadcast transmission Blasting out on the AM and FM dial, global shortwave, XM radio, and #1 on the internet at Infowars.com. #1 for listeners on the internet via the podcast and the free audio streams at Infowars.com. I also host, along with the rest of my great reporters, Infowars Nightly News every weeknight evening at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain. Now, we have Dr. Doug Rokke joining us, who was the former head of the Pentagon's depleted uranium weapons program. And he wrote the main studies on it. And we hadn't been able to have him on the last 6 months or so because he's been in and out getting medical treatment. Last time I checked, he's had over 35 surgeries. A lot of his team that was involved just studying DU has died, some of them young men. And he will break down what DU is doing to our troops and how that dovetails in with Fukushima. Radiation levels now for 8+ months have been off the charts in many areas of the United States, different isotopes, readings in the milk and the vegetables that are grown on the surface. Cows then, of course, eat the grass off the surface, and it bioaccumulates. In some cases, milk has had over 100 times what they say is normal or safe levels in it. But now they just wave magic wands and raise the isotope levels and say it's safe. Wasn't safe in '86 with Chernobyl. Now they just wave magic wands. And they wave magic trendy wands because the New York Times or Michael Medved say so. You know, it's good for you. It's like the London Guardian now says it's trendy and radiation's good for you. George Monbiot actually said it's wonderful. Anyone that doesn't like it is insane. And you just wave a trendy, know-it-all, bossy wand, and everyone is supposed to listen to you. Kind of like Ron Paul. They wave a magic wand and say, he can't win. You're not supposed to vote for him. He's dangerous. He's evil. He's bad. And you're supposed to get in line and say, oh, my gosh, a group of confirmed deceivers and manipulators and preemptive warmongers who've helped turn America into a bankrupt cesspit of global tyranny are now telling me new lies. It'd be like getting at the end of a sewage pipe and watching all the horrible effluent, the detritus come out, and then somebody says, you know, I wouldn't sit there and get a spoon and eat what's coming out of the end of that, and you see all this black sludge coming out, and they look at you and say, you're a conspiracy theory. This is apple pie, because the government-run media said so. And you're like, but it stinks. It's coming out of the end of a sewage pipe. And they're like, shut up, conspiracy theorist. Conspiracy theory is thinking and asking questions and not believing out of hand what confirmed known liars say. And so I am a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to admit it right now. We've had a bunch of top scientists on, probably more than, 20 or so in the last 9 months since Fukushima happened. And the fastest currents from Japan go up to Alaska and northern Canada. And they reported just a few months into it, massive increases in radiation levels in the fish and in seals. And now MSNBC is reporting scientists test sick Alaska seals for radiation, and it looks like they're dying of radiation poisoning. Nothing like seal teeth falling out, nothing like their hair falling out, nothing like blood coming out of them as all the fast-growing tissue dies. You get hit with radiation, that's what happens. Your gums die and start bleeding. Fast-growing cells are hit. That's why children are so susceptible, because they're fast-growing cells. Everything in their body is a fast-growing cell except for eggs in a child's ovaries if it's a girl and your eyeballs. That's it. Everything else is changing and growing. And you get hit with radiation, it's much worse. But an adult, only thing that's really fast-growing is your skin, your gums, your mucous membranes, your intestines, and a few other things. And boy, when you get hit with radiation, bye-bye intestine lining, bye-bye teeth. And that's happening to the seals, bye-bye. But it doesn't matter, because the government waves a trendy wand. Trendy wand. We said it's good. Oh, I have hundreds of articles here where the mainstream media is even admitting world government is the answer, they say. And here's The Economist magazine, top globalist publication last month, calling for an end of elected governments running anything and unelected technocracies. I showed you the article. And a global government run by private banks. That's what we've always said the Trilateral Commission publicly wrote about. And their answer is have the New York Times go, Alex Jones and Ron Paul are insane. Doesn't matter if I play Herman von Rompuy, the head of the EU, unelected bureaucrat. Doesn't matter if I play the former British Prime Minister calling for world government through the crisis in the G20. It doesn't matter if I show you the editor of the Financial Times of London, their foreign desk editor, saying, and now for world government, and saying, yes, we're authoritarian, yes, we kept it in secret, and yes, we're going to take over, and it's for your own good. And Time Magazine, Bank of the World Time, literally hundreds of articles a month. You can pull up any, and admitting world government is exactly what we said. But it didn't matter. There were, in a week's period, hundreds of articles last year in the week that the G20 was meeting. It just so happened Nightlines, an ABC News anchor of the ABC Nightly News, came down here, okay? And he said, okay, you imagine this world government. And I took him in the office and I said, okay, here's clips of world government. Here's world leaders saying what the world government is. And here's how they're setting it up. And he said, well, that's your interpretation. I said, no, they just said that. None of it was in their report. And then I went out to dinner with them. They took me out to dinner at Fogo de Chao here locally. The reporter and the producer. And we're nice guys. And pretty much, you know, said, oh, we know a lot of this is true, but what are you going to do? I mean, talk about mercenaries. And to them, they really appreciated it after the interview. I said, and they even put it on the nightly news, where I said, you know, I'm on my side of the picket line and you're the other people on the other side. You know, you're just doing your job, I'm doing mine. And they put that on the news. Because it's all a big joke. They sit there and they tell their viewers, and the ABC was much nicer than Medved and the New York Times and all these Daily Beast and, you know, Newsweek garbage. I mean, they actually were somewhat friendly, but just, you know, just said it's my opinion and tried to make me look a little kooky. You know, that's nice compared to the other stuff they do. The other things that the establishment neocons are up to. But they know that their audience is just kind of a halfway awake, so busy in the rat race that they just kind of halfway read the news, or kind of while you're cooking dinner or doing laundry or whatever, you got the TV on in the background like we all do, and you're just halfway kind of listening. And everything this system targets people with backfires on them if you can get people to really look at it and go, now, wait a minute. They're saying Ron Paul is nuts, and I've got the quotes here, and crazy, and I'm crazy because we say that there's a plan to reduce world population. Well, I mean, when you read what they say, that I believe George Bush has a plan to kill us all. I never said that. That's a straw man. That's like what CBS News and Weekly Standard and all these publications in the last 2 weeks, hundreds of them, went with the talking point. Alex Jones says they put chemicals in your water to make you gay. No, I was reading Planned Parenthood UN documents saying we'll put things in the water to reduce fertility and confuse sexual orientation to get rid of the family. And then I showed London Guardian where the Pentagon developed gay bombs. Okay? I mean, it's been declassified. The CIA developed fast-acting cancers that you can just spray over somebody's house virally and they're going to get cancer. Doesn't matter how young or how old they are. But see, because the public doesn't know about that, they just make it a little joke and don't point out that I'm actually sourcing what I covered from original direct sources.